Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cat. Super buddy, there you are.
Well, Jimmy, I had to fight some goons on my way over here. They pushed me into an alley and threatened me with knives, swords, and chainsaws. 5 guys. I punched one guy's teeth out, broke another one's leg. The rest ran away. I didn't get a scratch, of course.
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister.
We have reviewed almost 500 indie movies on the channel, and today's one was once again picked directly for us by one of our awesome Malayalam satire supporters. Binoy Mohammed has chosen this year's Malayalam language comedy crime drama Purusha Pretham, aka The Male Ghost. It's the third feature-length film directed by Krishand, whose last film I have actually seen. His last film was the very unique and fresh Aber, or the Yabe documentation of an amphibian hunt. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a mockumentary, kind of part superhero movie, kind of part social message movie. It was really, really fresh, really cool. Buddy, what do you have about the cast and story?
Yeah, well, the movie was written by Ajit Haridas and Manu Torupura. It's starring Alexander Prashant, Jagadish, and Darshana Rajendran. And yeah, well, this is a police procedural comedy drama movie, and obviously this is something pretty new in Malayalam cinema. So where you can see like people doing their daily work, especially police officers doing their daily work, but you can also see them like in their daily routine at home.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see like doing their police work in different cases, people coming with the different problems and all this. It's apparently something pretty new. And the synopsis of Purusha Pretham is like this. Sebastian, aka Super Sebastian, is a cop who claims to be a superhero cop through his exaggerated stories and gimmicks.
Yep.
When he and his partner Dilip fish out a male body from a lake, they bury it after 3 days at the local cemetery as per protocol for unidentified bodies. Soon after that, however, a woman named Susan makes a claim that it's her husband's body. And yeah, things like go their crazy way.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fresh and different kind of film.
Yeah.
And I really like the introduction of our protagonist, Super Sebastian. Because, he tells stories that are very exaggerated or like total lies, actually.
Yeah.
And there's this story he tells up at the beginning about how he meets some gangsters. And the actual situation is very different than what he tells his buddies, his colleagues. And the juxtaposition of that is really funny. And I like that introduction. But buddy, overall, what is your take on Purusha Pretham?
I actually liked this movie quite a lot. I mean, I think it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It has a very, had me from the get-go with its very distinct atmosphere and vibe. And it's been some days since I've watched it, and it still left this kind of fascinating impact.
Okay.
In my mind. The good and the bad stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but all in all, I think this is a very different movie.
Yeah.
Where the good outweighs the bad for me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really, really happy that you said that, because I liked it okay.
Okay.
I liked it fine. But there were so many elements that didn't really work for me. For me, it was way too repetitive, way too long for the actual story that it tells. And it's fresh. It's still fresh and it's different, but that doesn't mean that it all works.
Yeah.
And some of it was baffling for me. It has a lot of moments that I really liked. For example, when he tells a story or when they find the dead body.
Yeah.
Because The movie is also a satire about police procedural stuff, bureaucracy, and
it's like the hero male cop and all this stuff also.
All that stuff. And when they find the dead body, it's really kind of quirky because either the body goes to this side of the river or to that side of the river, and that determines which police station is responsible. And of course, our characters don't want the responsibility.
Nobody wants to do the work.
Wants to do the work. And apparently, which is tragic, but this is satire, so it's also funny here, there are so many bodies from accidents and suicides and what else, that there are so many, and they don't want to have another one. They don't want to deal with that. And the scene is really, really fun, how they are standing in this crowd and going like this, going like that. Where's the body shifting? And the movie also has a very distinct soundtrack. Composed by, I don't know right now, I will find it later, which also adds to the comedy, I think, because the soundtrack is so striking, sometimes with English lyrics so over the top. And sometimes I like that. Sometimes I thought it was weird. And I think I have to say this up front. This is a movie where I definitely thought I felt the cultural or the language barrier, because there's so much dialogue in this one. And so many people talking over each other, and you are following the subtitles constantly. And I thought, man, if I understood the language, I think it would be a completely different experience, because then I could also maybe get the humor better, because this is a movie where I thought, that's supposed to be funny, this is supposed to be funny, but most of the time I didn't find it that funny, and for me it was hard to get into the movie.
For me, it was also hard to get into the movie, because there is like this screwball manner of talking. The characters talk very fast, and I don't speak Malayalam. I have no idea about the language, but there obviously are some linguistic puns in there where people just mistake something for something else, and like don't really talk with each other. And so I almost got some of those jokes because subtitles weren't that bad. And it's very whimsical, it's tongue-in-cheek, satire, farcical, and all that. But this actually wasn't my big problem to get into the movie. My biggest gripe with the movie was the flashy framing. The framing of this movie
the framing,
threw me off at the beginning.
But it didn't get
it didn't get better. I just got used to it. Because it wasn't as striking for me as it was at the beginning, because I thought, okay, so why do we have these characters almost at the extreme edge of the frame?
Let's describe it a little bit. The movie is very stylish.
Totally.
That's nice. You really see that the director, who's also the director of cinematography, so he did the camera work himself, you really get the feeling that he wants to try something, that he has a distinct, idea, language. But right from the beginning, the framing, people are really at this side of the frame or totally on this side, and there's so much not empty space. There are things in there, but you wonder why. What is the purpose? Is there a gap between these people? Don't they understand each other? What's going on here? And then I stopped the movie and I thought maybe the version I'm watching is maybe too close.
I thought so too.
And I watched the trailer on YouTube, and the trailer looks exactly the same. It's the same kind of CinemaScope aspect ratio. And I thought, that's probably all intentional. And there's also at the bottom of the screen, I almost the entire time felt like it was missing, like
the camera is too high or something. High. You always have. Now the thing is, if you make something like that, you have a character or something like the subject of a frame, of a scene. The important thing, if you have it like at the edge of a frame, extreme edge, sometimes they're almost not in the frame. They're just that wide,
like almost a third of the face.
And if that's so, you have to you want to show us something that's in the rest of the frame. But I think there's not. Maybe there are some scenes, but most of the scenes there are like there's nothing interesting occupying the rest of the frame. It's just like, okay, there's the rest of the flat, of the apartment, or the street, because the Super Sebastian is in the car, and the police car, and we have him at the edge of the frame. The rest is just the street, and nothing happens there. So this is obviously a choice by the director, but I really can't say why. Because the problem with this is also that it like it directs the attention to the cinematography and onto itself, and so like the art of the film, like, it becomes too visible. It becomes too visible, and you always think, okay, this is the camera and this is what it wants to show, and you have a hard time to get into the movie, into this world. Because you always think, why is that?
That was exactly my problem with it also. And so all these elements coming together, or for me, didn't come together. And then I just, for me, the story was interesting that the movie shines a light on these procedural with the dead bodies, what they have to do with it. But the story itself wasn't interesting enough for me. The conflict wasn't really super interesting. I liked our protagonist fine. I liked that he has some background. He's living with his sick mother. He has this kind of girlfriend. I liked her character actually quite a bit. I thought the actress was really good. But they're also doing this one bit where they pretend they are married and going something. I was wondering what is happening right now, but I thought it was fun. But it wasn't really enough for me to get sucked into the movie. And like after 90 minutes, I was like a little bit bored, to be honest. And it's a movie that has some twists and turns, but not that many. And I think we will do a little spoiler segment later. I want to talk a little bit about the ending. But how the character of Susan is introduced in the movie, it was okay, but
the movie wants to cram a lot of stuff into its runtime. There's a lot going on, so we are.
Is there though?
Yeah. I mean, there is a I mean, okay, story-wise, there's probably not that much going on, but we have the character of Sebastian, we have the character of Dilip, who lives with his daughter and her husband, and we have the investigation into the unidentified body. We have the Susan character who says that this is her husband, and they have to dig it out again. They have to find the grave. They have to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. They get suspended one time, and but still try to investigate. And of course. Krishand probably tried to show us this is a policeman. He does his police work, but he's also he's not like living not in the society. He's also a sick mother at home, and he has all this stuff going on in his head. And the movie obviously wants to tell us something about how the system fails to work with these unidentified bodies, and it also says something about police hierarchy and okay, is it too much work probably for these policemen, and what can we change in this system?
It's also interesting that some of them are also actors. They act in a show. So there's this strange element.
There is this strange farcical satirical element in there. But it's also just this little thing that's thrown in there, but you don't know what to make of it. So that's what I meant when I said there's a lot going on, because this movie maybe it tries to be this socio-political comment, but for me, what worked most in the end, and what the identity of this movie is the visuals, is the style, is this neo-noir satirical feel to it. So I don't if I tell somebody about this movie, I won't tell them, hey, this is the criticism of society and system. That's in there, but this is a very visual movie. This is a stylish movie that also has some violent moments in there, and it's this I mean, at the beginning, it's whimsical and fun, but it gets like darker and a bit grittier towards the end, so that's also a bit weird. And in this case, this weirdness somehow worked for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm happy for you.
It's definitely too long. It's like 150 minutes.
I think if this would be a 100-minute movie...
Yeah, you could definitely compress this movie into like maybe 120 minutes maximum tops. Yeah, maybe even less. Yeah. But I think the balance worked between this like slightly enough character work and this investigation into the body and all this like green and red lighting stuff where I thought, is this a cyberpunk movie now? It's so weird that it did work. Not perfectly, nice. Like you said, it's not like 100% working all the time, but it was like distinct enough to entertain me. Yeah,
nice. Then I would just go into some spoilers, and then I'm already done with my notes. Actually, the music was composed by Ajmal Hasbullah, and it's very striking.
There's some like there's some cool like I don't know, like hip hoppy or dance. I don't know. It's like this beat stuff in there that's like underlying these cool cop scenes. Yeah. Where he's like also imagining stuff, but at the end there's
always a hot
there's
cut.
A real scene where it's the same music in there, but you don't really know what's real and what's fake at that point. I don't know, but all that plays into this strange weirdness. I don't know.
Spoiler. It's just that the ending didn't really do much for me. We get this twist that the Susan character. It wasn't her husband. She knew all the time because her actual husband was brutal and violent and abusive, and this was her chance to get some freedom and then move back to the United States. But then there is another twist that she actually told her brother, I think, that he should kill her husband. So she's actually quite cold-hearted, and she has also no problem whatsoever to kill Sebastian. Yeah. And that was for me a little bit too much. It was a little bit like, who is this woman?
It was also undermining all the stuff that she said before with her husband. So
that was, I don't know.
It felt a bit tacked on, like to do this twisty stuff when it's not really necessary at that point. Yeah.
I didn't feel that the movie was really dealing with any real moral questions or anything because it was just then we got too much into this neo-noir genre movie all of a sudden. And for that, I thought her character wasn't interesting enough. And also the advocate she was with was a bit too much with the performance for me. He was very shrill and I didn't think they had much chemistry. There was some... He was into her, I think, but it felt a bit off. Yeah. And then we get the very end where Sebastian is once again telling a story that's not true. And I like the idea because it goes back to the very beginning that he's Super Sebastian and he tells these crazy stories that didn't actually happen. That's great. But the problem was for me that the story he tells his colleagues, and that's the story we see. So at first we think, whoa, what's happening right now? Then it's revealed, no, it's just a story. But this story, the climax of the movie, how he escapes from that water hole and
the well
and confronts Susan and her brother who are in a car, that was for me so ridiculously bad how the whole scene was executed. Like they're in a car, he just goes in front of the car, the guy is so stupid that he leaves the car, then they fight for some reason while Susan is just watching.
Maybe she was scared like, to run him over because then there would be blood on the car and she had to explain at the airport what happened with the car.
Maybe, but that whole scene was, for me, I watched it like this is so unrealistic. Then of course it's revealed that it's just made up. But that doesn't really make it much better for me. And so the movie ends and I'm like, it has some really cool scenes, some cool moments, some things that worked. But overall, I was not that much into it.
Yeah, I mean, I can somehow like agree with all this stuff, especially because, like I said, it's like there's so much and so much in there. I don't mean like from the narrative standpoint, but also because these different these different like techniques with the blinking letters in the picture.
That was nice.
But then the lighting, and then this is it imaginary or is it real? And then like the execution of some scenes. There is like it's like really just a hodgepodge, a hodgepodge that worked for me.
Yep.
Because like it's just so there's also so silly stuff in there. This Project Citrus stuff where the police always like is about this
with
lemonade
the
and all this stuff. So this obviously wants to be like some kind of satire about the police, about everything. But like I said, I don't think it works that well as this big socio-cultural systemic criticism. It works as a weird police procedural noir movie that's just not everything works, but I thought it was and it was something different.
The stuff with citrus, lemonade, all that stuff, that's where I thought, if I understood Malayalam, I think this would work much better, because then you just read it, then okay, now we are back with the lemonade stuff, what's going on here, okay. Because I think there was a lot lost in translation.
There's also these like snippets also cut in, like of all the unidentified bodies, or Project Citrus was like this when it was in the paper and all this stuff, and it's like a lot going on. So it went over my head, but
So, what would you say in German?
I would say Purusha Pretham ist eine faszinierend skurrile, düstere und surreale Neo-Noir-Satire-Farce, die nicht immer zu 100% funktioniert, aber dennoch durch ihre Frische und Seltsamkeit mitreißen kann.
Nice. Purusha Pretham ist frisch und anders und hat einige tolle Momente. Insgesamt bin ich aber nie ganz warm geworden mit dem doch sehr repetitiven Erzählstil und der eigenwilligen Inszenierung. Spannung kam bei mir leider nie auf und weder die Geschichte noch die Charaktere haben mich wirklich gepackt. So, this is somewhere between 5 and 6 for me. And I think just so that I use all the numbers on the scale, with this one, I will go with a 5 out of 10. It's more like 5.4, but I don't do that. Could also be a 6, but
it's all right. It's all right. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.2, but I don't do that either.
Nice.
So, Jimmy, did you know that the motto of the Kerala police is Mrudu Bave Druda Krutye, which means soft in temperament, firm in action in Sanskrit?
Nice. No, I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Awesome. So please let us know what you think about Purusha Pretham. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and also on Patreon, simply at @TheJimmyCage.
And you can hit me up on Twitter at the Buddymeister.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like.
And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.